Hi guys, it's Lita. So, I don't know how many of you know this, but I play a lot of World of Warcraft, and WoW came out with player housing. So, I wanted to show you guys my house. I've spent a pretty good time on it. Actually, player housing has been out for a couple months, so I wanted to give you guys a tour of my house and what the outside and the inside look like. So come along with me and tour my house. So, for those of you that don't know about WoW player housing, there are two types of houses. There's Horde and Alliance. This is what the Horde house looks like. I have a Horde house, so I've completely reskinned my house with wagons and gazebos to make it look more spooky, more forsaken, which is the undead character for WoW. So I really tried to cover up the house itself, and I feel like I did a pretty good job. I made one of these little gazebos with little sitting areas, but there is a budget, and I ran out of the outside budget, so I had to kind of leave them alone, and that's why there are ramps up to my gazebos. I used to have stairs, but I ran out of budget. But I tried to make it look like there is stuff in there. So, again, lots of wagons and gazebos to cover the facade of the Horde house. Like you saw I showed you a picture of it. This doesn't even look like that house anymore. So I'm pretty happy with the outside. I couldn't really do much with the yard except for my coffin flower boxes and my coffin lid frame with trellises. I just really tried to make it look undead and spooky. Okay, so now we're gonna go into my house. So welcome in, guys. So I made an undead holy priest. So I put the priest things in my entry hall so people know this is a priest house. And on the other side, I made a coffin bookshelf because you gotta, especially if you have one IRL. And we are Horde, so I had to put a Horde flag up because sorry guys, I could not resist not putting that in there. Had to be done. Had to be. So this is like my entry room. Once again, spooky vibes. I just took coffin lids and put candles in them to line the walls just to make it a little more decorative, but it's basically just an entry room with all of the spooky skull stuff kind of put around the room. So now this is like a little hallway that I made. Unfortunately, I forgot to shut my UI off for this part, so apologies for having to stare at my crazy looking UI, but I just forgot. It's actually really hard to film your house in this game, even though they made it pretty easy, but it's just hard to remember to shut off your UI and like get the camera angles right and stuff like that. So sorry about that you have to look at that, but that's what we're working with. So yeah, I just kind of lined it with shelves. I tried to really make the house look like lived in and have a lot of stuff on the shelves to look at, so it doesn't look so like bare, because the rooms with like no clutter look really bare. And then I made this little outside room with a fell portal and a scroll. It doesn't mean anything. I just thought it looked cool and I wanted one of those like indoor outdoor rooms with windows, and I think it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how the windows came out. So lots of spider webs, lots of trees, and that's pretty much this room. Okay, so this is my library. I've rebuilt this several times, but I'm finally happy with how it looks. And this took a while to do. I kind of made those bookshelves. They're shiny, they have mirrors behind them, so they shine like that. Try to make them like different from everybody's bookshelf, because you only get like two different bookshelves that are the easiest bookshelves to get. So yeah, I just wanted to make the bookshelves look different, and I also made the windows too. You'll get another shot of the windows, but I tried to make different windows than you can just buy, so I custom made the windows myself, and I think they turned out pretty good. So here's a good shot of the windows, and I'm gonna take you guys upstairs to this loft I built in my library, because I just thought it would be cool to like have a little sleeping loft in the library. And I made a little balcony, and I put a fireplace up here too. I don't know, I just love that fireplace. That fireplace is so good looking, so like creepy vibes. So I had to, of course, have a coffin bed, and I put it in like a canopy because I wanted a canopy bed. So here's my coffin bed. Honestly, making a coffin bed is the only acceptable bed for a Forsaken, so that's what I did, because I didn't really like any of the beds that you could just buy. So this is just like my little reading nook above my library, my little reading loft, and that is my library. And I made those stairs out of tables, by the way. So this is my dining hall. It's Forsaken themed, obviously. I don't have too many chairs because I don't know. The chairs didn't fit right with like too many chairs, and I didn't want to put them at the ends because it didn't look right. But yeah, I just made a dining room for 4 people, a dining hall for 4 people. So now we're gonna go into my kitchen. My kitchen is probably the least worked on, but I did try to put some stuff in here so it looked like a kitchen. Okay, so we have this big ass oven, a table to chop things up. I've got cutting boards and a cookbook and decent lighting. I guess it's kind of dark for a kitchen. Then I have this bar. The Arathi bar works so good for kitchens. So I just put some stuff on the shelves and some fruits. I really like the wolf rug, can you tell? It's like all over my house. And I made a small pantry. The kitchen needs some work, but I just was really concerned about getting one particular room done with the decor budget, so it's kind of sparse looking in here if I'm honest, but I do have a stove and an oven with a vent, and it works. There's fire in there, so like you could cook theoretically. And I made a coffin sink with water that is running, and you can just wipe your hands clean on the Alliance flag. So now we're going to leave my kitchen and we're going to go to my very last room. This is the room that I just envisioned in my head that I wanted to do in my house. And I got really excited when I saw some of the items, but they are not available until midnight, possibly. But I did my best. I think it looks decent. I think it reads like what it's supposed to be, so yeah. So welcome guys to my graveyard in my house. Uh, I really tried hard to make it look like a graveyard in this room. Okay, so a couple things about this room. I wanted to make this room, this is what I was saving most of my budget for. This is an empty stairwell room, and eventually I will have stairs in here that will lead up to a second story, but because of the budget, I cannot afford stairs to do the second room, so that's why the ceiling looks like that. Um, First world problems, am I right? So I tried to make these leaves look like mounds of like a fresh dug grave, and previously you were able to dye the leaves a different color, but now you cannot dye them, so I had to deal with them looking like leaves, but you were able to dye it like a dark brown and then it would look like dirt, but now you can't. I don't understand what's going on with the dyed stuff that could be dyed and now it's not, but it is what it is. I think it still captures the idea of a fresh dug grave. So that pretty much wraps up my house tour. I have my BattleNet up if you guys want to come see my house. If you do play WoW, I would love you to pay me a visit. And this feature is evergreen in WoW, so this will be updated consistently. And I just want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on other social media. My links will be posted in the description box down below. Hit that notification bell so you guys know when I upload. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.